Uh, very very good evening, participants. I hope so. I'm audible. Can you all see my screen? Very less members have joined. It's okay. Let's start a session. It's getting late. Can you all see my presentation? Can you all see my screen? Can you all hear me? Can you all hear me? Okay. Perfect. So what we are going to do today is we're going to learn about the documentation. Okay. So what is documentation? Documentation means writing the project into the better way. So writing the project in the way so that everyone can understand. Okay. So this is a project documentation of hand cricket game. Okay. Similarly, the guessing game will be there. Okay. So first let us start with the abstract. Okay. So what does mean by abstract? Already we have discussed, even though we'll have a session to regarding this and we'll have a proper clear understanding. The very first thing is about abstract is it is a general talk about the project. Very general talk. Very general talk doesn't involve any digital or like any technical things. So first, this game is a single player game. Okay. And when a player competes against the computer by choosing a number. Okay, the player is going to play with the computer by choosing a number. Okay, so what is the objective? This game aims in the objective to score as many runs as possible. Okay, to get. Yes, Prasanna, would you like to talk something? Okay, so this game is used to play against a computer, and the aim of this project is to score as many runs as possible. Okay, while avoiding getting out. So the computer makes its move first. So first computer will be choosing a number, and then we have to choose our own number. Okay, if both of the numbers are matching, like a bowling. Okay, first we have to get a bowling from the computer and batting from the user, same similar way. So as it is a simple game, we cannot simulate that bowling or batting, etc. So simply we just imagine first the computer bowls the ball and the player hits the ball. Likewise, if both members have chosen the same number, then the player is considered out. So the game continues till the player decides to stop or gets out. Okay, so this documentation provides an overview, okay, of the game's features, gameplay, rules, and the technical implementation details, and the components such as user interface, how to generate random number, how do you check the inputs, how do you track the score, what is the logic behind the game, what loop have you used, and the output mechanism. So all these things are going to be discussed in the project. So this hand cricket game offers an engaging digital adaptation. What it means in cricket, we play with plenty of players in a big area, and we have that experience of bowling, batting. But here it is a simulation with a challenging experience with the computer. If you have played the game, you might have noticed you cannot score like above 50 runs. You'll be getting out. So that part will have interesting to fix a target. And table of contents, what are the points inside this? So the very first point, is background, objective, scope, and methodology, and we have some fundamental things, and we don't use with the GUI, we use with the CLI. Okay, let's check it later. Okay, and how do you implement the game? And so these are the topics. Okay, so these are the topics that we about to add. So before that, we have to give some write up about what we are about to do. So first thing, what is Python? So Python is a popular programming language. It was created by Guido van Rossum and released in 1991. And what is this use of Python programming language? You must know about it. If you do any programming language documentation, these are the basics. What do you want to do with Python? It is used for web development, especially server side, and also used for software development, mathematical problem solving questions, some kinds of system scripting like web scraping, and doing automation things, or sending request, API call, etc. So what Python can do? Python can create a web applications like a server we have seen already, like Django, and it can do software, system softwares or application softwares to do the workflow, and also it can perform database operations indirectly, like how we have created a text file and we stored the data and we retrieved the data. Same way, it can also handle the data inside the database, and also it can handle the big data and perform more complex mathematics which are going to be applied in Hadoop, like Hadoop or Pandas or big data analytics or machine learning, whatever you call. And then it can used for the software testing, which is very important after developing a software. And Python is open source, and it is more flexible language. So more flexible language in the sense it is available in cross platform support. Cross platform in the sense, if you use any operating system, that can be a Windows operating system, Macintosh, Linux, Raspberry Pi, or anything, Arduino, everything is possible with the help of Python support. Similarly, it is very simple language. It is using English as a programming language, so it has very less symbols, so we don't go for the symbols. And Python has a syntax with less number of symbols. That is the biggest advantage over here. Then Python is interpreter system, which means one line will be executed at a time. Moving on, Python can be created in a procedural way. Procedural way in the sense, it is just doing work one by one, so it won't get interpreted in between. So it does Python one by one. And major advancement in Python is it will be running with the three versions. All the Python tasks in software development mostly done in 3x versions, the new ones. Suppose if the company has already a Python project, then that can be of 2x versions. 2x versions, that is old one, 3 is the latest one. Okay, 3 point something, 2 point something. Okay, and there are so many text editors available: Tawny, PyCharm, NetBeans, Sublime Text, Jupyter Notebook, Atom. There are so many. Whichever you are comfortable with your computer hardware specifications and your convenience, you can use it. That is not a problem. And Python is mostly used for the readability of a code, which means anybody can understand the code easily without anyone's help or difficulty in the understanding of the code. So programming language like others uses semicolons, parentheses, open parenthesis, close parenthesis, etc. But Python only rely on the indentation. Indentation means space from the margin. Then there is an example how to use a statement to print hello world. This is how we use print open parenthesis double quotation hello comma world exclamation mark and double quotation and close parenthesis. How do you install Python? So Python can be installed in numerous ways. The very first thing is we download from the internet and we just double click that and then we did it. So we have done in very first class. If you have any clarifications regarding, you can check it out. And then so Python a quick start you can do like this. This is how you can run the project, or you can also open the project by right click and ideally. Okay, I'll show that one. See, to check whether Python is installed or not, I'll type Python and version. If it is installed, I will get the version of the Python that is installed. To run a specific program, uh, okay, I have some files. Okay, I have some color test 2.py. Let me run a program for you. Okay, so Python color test 2.py. So if I run now, then it will run the Python. That's all. It will run the Python program. Very simple. If you have any other script, if you type like this, then it starts working. Yes. Would you like to say something? Okay. So this is how it works. And indentation. So indentation means the space that you are providing for the block of a code. Usually we go with the while loops. So this is the example of indentation. If you go with the function definition, you see here the space. This is called indentation. Can you see here function definition? This is the first indentation and this is the indentation for the try block. And this is while loop. This is the indentation for the while loop and this is the indentation for if condition. So the space before the margin is called indentation. And then moving on, we can do understand that indentation is very important for code readability. So indentation uses to indicate a block of code. Example, if you write like 5 greater than 2, if you write in very next line print, then it causes error. Why it causes error? Because it should be with indentation. If you do not give proper indentation, Python interpreter will generate error like this, syntax error. Okay, it will create syntax error. So to avoid getting syntax error, please do use the indentation appropriately. Okay, example for the syntax error, you should use this as indentation, like it should go like this. Okay, the space should be given properly. Suppose if you do not give the space properly, then it will give the indentation error. Okay, and then comment. So comment we have gone with basically two types of comments. The very first one is single line comment that starts with a hashtag, and the other one is double line comment. Double line comment means that works with 1 minute. So that works with the hashtag. If it is hashtag, then that is single line command. If it is triple quotation, that is called multi-line command. Okay, so this is multi-line command and it is example. So what is a variable? So we have to include some topics about Python, whatever we have learned so far. So if you want to add something, you can add appropriately. If you want to add something like a variable, you can understand that variables are the named locations to access the values. So variables can store the values on the named locations. So to get a variable, you can give directly like x is equal to 5 and y is equal to John. You can write your name. That is my suggestion. Whoever is getting this documentation, please write your name. Okay. So here you will have to write your name. Okay. That's the recommended one. And variables no need to be declared with any particular value or any particular type. So if you want, you can add anything, or if you want, you can change anything. There is no compulsion that you must use only this one or you must use that one. It's not like that. Okay, so indentation is completed, and then we have learned about the variable. So variable means it is used to be storing values with a name. And then we have learned about casting. Casting means conversion of one data type to another data type. So we have learned yesterday a typecasting. Similarly, here if you use x is equal to string of 3, x is changed to string. If you change with the 3, that will be integer. If you change with the float, that will be changed as a float. How do you get the data type? With the help of type function type. Similarly, once again, please change this as your name. Okay, and there is a question: we should use single quotes or double quotes? So both are same. It doesn't make big difference until you're going into very deep. Okay, so go ahead and try it out with some basic examples. Once again, here we are going to create two variables, a is equal to 4 and a is equal to your name. Okay, go with your name or location. What happened? Case sensitive means this is different from that. Say like an example, let me create a variable. Okay, there are two a's. A is equal to 11 and a is equal to 23. Now if I print a, that is 11. If I print capital letter A, then that is 23. How do you know that? With the help of case sensitive. So capital letter A is different from small letter a. That is called case sensitive. So what are the data types available in Python? Obviously we know that we have learnt with the numbers, we have learnt with the string, dictionaries. So we are going to learn about it. Okay, dictionary we are going to learn about it, and set we are going to learn about it. Okay, and binary and none is not about like daily usage. It's beyond the scope. Okay, none will be used, no problem, I'll teach you about it. Next, getting the data type. So how do you know the data type? So you can just type x is equal to 5 and print type of x. This will give the data type. How do you give the data type? If you give x is equal to quotation mark, then it is a string. If you give x equal to 20, then that is integer. If you give x is equal to 20.5, then it is float. If you give a number with a imaginary part, then that is called complex numbers. Square bracket list, open parenthesis tuple. If you want to give range of 6, that will give a numbers. Same dictionary we are going to see about it, so don't worry about it. Okay, we were going to learn more about it, so don't worry of these things. So that's what given here, conversion. So Python strings, as we discussed earlier, it is enclosing with the single quotation marks or double quotation marks. So Python strings are used to store the characters in Python. So characters, here what I mean, it can be two things. The characters can be two things. Very first thing, it can be an alphabet or it can be non-alphabet. So anything enclosing in quotation marks are considered as the strings. Okay, example A is equal to hello quotation marks. And then what is multi-line string? When you use a triple quotation to store a very big strings. Okay, a very big passage. Then it is called multi-line string. So there is an example given over. Please use your own example. Okay, type something like here. Please don't use this same because this is given for just understanding. It is not recommended to use the same thing for everyone in this batch, because even though if you are different colleges, you might understand something or you need to submit to the same person. In such case, they should not evaluate like everybody has done the same thing. Okay, similarly please try to change here and there. Okay, here and there make a few changes. And we know that sequence strings are a sequence. What is a sequence? Sequence means continuous ones. If it is sequence, what we can do? We can do indexing. Indexing means we can get the position of a character with the help of a number. So we know very well it starts with a 0. Indexing starts with a 0. And then looping, we have done about iteration and traversal. So iteration does not involve, iteration involves number, traversal does not involve numbers. So iteration means number. Okay, so here this is called a traversal. Traversal means it does not include the index. So string length, to find out the length of the string, we use len function. Len will give the length of the string. Okay, so that's what we given over here. We have applied for membership operator, and that's it. We are moving for the list. So list means that is enclosing in square brackets. So we have understood the applications of list and we have seen a lot of examples for it. Okay, why am I explaining this to you? Because you need to know what are the things are implemented in this and what are the things you have learned to develop this project. So that is why I'm explaining you. So all these things we have learned. So what is array, what is tuple, etc. And also we have learned about tuple. Tuple means that is enclosing in a parenthesis. So what is the big difference? Tuple is immutable and list is mutable. So we know very well what is mutable and immutable. Mutable means it will be changing, immutable means it will not changing. And then we have learnt about storing the data into the file. How do you store the data? You store the data with the help of a file. What file? Text file. What can you do with the text file? You will use read, write, append and create. Okay, so we use only three modes, that is, R, W, A. R for reading, W for writing. What is the problem? It will overwrite if the data is existing. Append means it will add the data if it is existing. Next, um, so some examples are given. How to read the files, we have done a lot. So closing a file, once you complete doing your work, you should close the file. So the closing file is done with the help of file pointer. Opening the file is also done with the help of file pointer. So this is called file pointer, F. You can use F, file pointer, file object, anything is perfectly okay. And writing the data into the file, we have seen about it. Um, so this, we have to see this later on. We are not going to cover like simple how to delete the folder. We will use os.remove directory. If you type the name of the folder, that will be deleted. Okay, I'll be teaching you later on. Okay, not now. It is here in your documentation, you just understand. And we have random 1 minute. NumPy, I'm not sure. I'll check with. Okay, NumPy is nothing. It is a similar list, similar to list that contains all the elements together. You know that, right? Slicing. You know how to slice it like this. That's what it is included. Slicing. That's it. Okay. So Python, whatever you have learned, you just add it up. Okay, that's much better. And moving on, we have the introduction of the game. So let us start the documentation properly. So here this is a game going to be played against the computer, and this game has a feature. It is single player mode, and computer cannot uh, give the same number repeatedly. It can do random numbers. So player should give the input between 1 to and 6. So score is tracked and it is displayed after every each single move, and it will find out the out, and it will find out the game continuation. So how to play the hand cricket game? So we will give the summary. The first, if you want to play the game, first computer will select a random number between 1 and 6, and then player is next to choose a number between 1 to 6. Now, if player misuses this opportunity and try to give the number beyond 1 and 6, then this will create an error, that is invalid run. And once the computer guesses the correct number, or the player enters the correct number of what computer has guessed, then obviously the player is out. So what are the rules? The number must be of 1 and 6. Both 1 and 6 are inclusive, and if the computer and the player chooses same number, then player is out. And if the player is giving a correct number like other than what computer has guessed, then the score will be increasing as per that. It will be keep on increasing the numbers, and the game will be out once the both of them are meeting same number. Every time player gives the number, the score will be displayed. Okay. And technical implementation, we have done user interface. That is what banner, you remember? Banner and all the double quotation things. Enter your choice, one for play, two for how to play, etc. All these are interface. Second, random number generation, we use random module. Input validation, we have checked a while loop. We got while loop right here. Here. So this loop checks for the user input is between 1 and 6. This part. So this is what we have run written over here. Score tracking, this will create a mechanism to update and track the score. You see here score mechanism. This is score mechanism. This will maintain the score. It will be increased as per user's choice. Then game logic. What is game logic? It will match the user's number and detects whether the player is out or not. And display the game's output including player score messages indicating the match's outcome and game over condition. This is what the part. So this is the logic of the game. Every time player plays, it will check and update the scores accordingly. So user interface, how did we do? We do the welcome message. So this is the welcome message. And cricket games here. And cricket. This is the welcome message. And then we go with the prompt. What is the prompt? This is for the guessing game. Player is prompted to enter a number. And code structure I have given to you. Okay, what is this code structure? In my Python program, I used a function definition like banner. See here, I use like banner. So I have written. Suppose if you written like a welcome message, like a welcome in your program, when you have written like this welcome, you change this to welcome. Okay, and this one game. So I use as game. So it is like this. Instruction I use as instruction. Writing score, display score. Okay, I don't use save record. If you want, you can use this. Okay, so change as per the methods you have applied. And then how to run the game. To use the, to play the hand cricket game. To play the hand cricket game, ensure Python is installed in your computer, and then copy the guessing game into the Python file, and then sorry, hand cricket game. Okay, so this is how you have to run the game. My file name is hand cricket game. If you rename something else, then you can go with that. Okay, every time console prints the prompt, enter the number between 1 and 6. Okay, if your run is not matching with CPU, then your score will be increased. If it is matches with your computer, then you are out. Okay, what is your scope? This is a single player game. Single player means only one member can play at a time. It is played against the computer. Okay, and this game aims to provide an enjoyable and challenging game experience while simulating rules and similar like similar to hand cricket. If you want to have any rules and regulations implementation, obviously you can do for it. And we have maintained the score, and it is randomly moved, and we are checking the players input, and we update the score based on the players run for each round. And then there is a logic, simple logic. If both of them gives the same number, then the player is out. If both of them gives different number, the player is still in the game. So this aims to create an engaging and interactive game experience, which means it is fast, quick and easy. So what is the main purpose? The purpose of this system is to provide a enjoyable experience. Mostly, if you develop any game, that is the only one motto. Because with the help of games, only you can have a good and happy time with the computer or the console. And skill development is here we use strategic thinking. Like it is randomly picked, so nobody knows which number computer will give. It can give maybe same number what you have guessed, or it can give random numbers, or it can give repeated numbers, anything we don't know. And digital adaptation, everywhere we use computers. So if you play with computer, it will be easy for you to play plenty of games rather than playing or installing a software. This is super easy. And single player experience, like only one member can play at a time, so it's so even challenging then. And it is used for relaxation, and you can take a break in daily routine, and it creates a recreation of your daily life diversion and a hectic ones. So here we have analysis model. I have written a lot about it, so have a glance of this how the data goes. And system requirement means what is required to play the game. Nothing, just Python is enough. Python is enough in any of the operating system we use. And error handling, that's what we have learned yesterday. Do you remember error handling? Like try except. If you try to give a number which is not a number, then it is an error. That's what error handling. And we have written about validation, where we have used, how we have used, um, etc. So we have used about it. An input, very easy. The input is used for getting numbers from the user, and if the number is entered correctly, the game will be proceeded. Output, similarly, the output is based on the game information, that is instruction. How to play, that is instruction. And your score, whether you are out or not, and whether you like score the runs very well or not, or you're going to the next ball or not, whether game over or not, whether you are entering proper number or not, everything is updated here. And what are the modules we used? We used input, and then processed, and the output is displayed. And then a random module is used for generating the random numbers. Output, we used a text file. So text file is used for implementing the scores and saved for the future use. Error handling, we use try and except. This is used for avoiding the program to stop intermediately without causing any trouble. Once again, everything is repeated, like repeated under the points repeatedly. So here it is your text based game, which means only the numbers are used here. And the minimal hardware requirements, you don't need graphics card, i5 processor, 250 GB hard disk, nothing required. It is played even in the very old PCs, and it is cost effective. You don't require any additional software license, hardware investments beyond a standard computer or a device. So it is cost wise and understandable. And training and support, this game is super simple. Nobody needs to have a training, a special training. So it is prepared in an easy way. Economical feasibility, etc. We developed in our own computer. We don't spend a lot of money on this, so it is so economical. And starting a game, player move, computer moves, score will be tracked, match will be decided. If the match is out, then you have to play once again. And error handling, yeah, you cannot introduce a new values into the computer. And user interface is of only prompts, like everything will be intimated you or informed you, so you don't want to worry about what to do next. Replayability, when the game is ending, then it will ask for you whether do you want to continue. Okay. And non-functional requirements, it is performing very well. It will not prepare to have a lagging experience, so it is lag free game. Anyone can use, and it will not crash. It is stable, there is no error, and it will not freeze. It is compatible with any operating system, and you can copy paste anywhere, no problem. And there is no privacy issue, and anyone can maintain, anyone can update, anyone can fix anything. And it is quick, super fast game. You don't want to wait for loading, you don't want to wait for player move, nothing. And you can play even faster, it won't lag anyway. In future, if you have any idea to implement like multiplayer game, obviously this is possible and accurate. Every time you do something, computer will calculate your score accurately. And high error efficiency, it will try to suppress all your errors. Even though if you do mistakenly, it won't stop, it will be keep on running. So this is your project documentation. It is version 1. Kindly paste your version 4. Okay, this is a code. Simply pasting the code. And in the conclusion, what you're going to conclude? Same thing. It is a single player game. It provides a better experience. You're going to play again with the computer, score as many runs as possible without getting out. This uses random module and time module. This will check all your errors. It will be giving quick experience, and you can have cross platform support. You can play with anyone, anywhere, with the less hardware requirements. So that's the big information about documentation. If you notice clearly, only topics are different. Okay, it's not like it gives a lot. So you can easily understand that repeatedly it says about only one thing. So this is how the project documentation is like. The concept is very simple, but you should know how to explain under various topics. If you know how to explain under various topics, then the documentation is perfect. And even though if you really understand this, you could do even adding more topics. Like you can add any topics in between, and then we can plan it accordingly. Okay, so I'll say to share this with you and have a copy of this documentation. Please change all the names wherever is possible to your name. That's the first step. And second step, please do understand the concepts and practice questions based on this, because when you're going for a job, obviously they will raise questions based on this. Like how I explained, how do you handle error? You should give them example. If you give example, you're perfectly okay. Is there any doubt in this documentation? Would you like to clarify any doubts in documentation? Okay, so do one thing. I'll ask your like I'll ask you to share your own thoughts in your documentation. That's better for you. If you try to share your own thoughts in your own documentation, then that will be much better. So only we can give a template. So what you do with the template, you try to add some features or read out the documentation, and just change the documentation as per your project, like you have done right hand cricket. So make changes accordingly, so then it looks like perfect one. Thank you, participants. Thank you so much for completing these two projects, and all the very best. Try to submit it. Actually, it's June 2. You might have started doing your works, and submit it very well. Whatever the questions they raise, please do answer confidentially. Okay, and tomorrow we have a test. So please get ready for the 1 mark test about the topics whatever we have covered so far. All the very best, participants. Thank you so much. Have a nice sleep all. Good night. You may leave now. Yeah, good night everyone. No need to post here. You may leave now. Thank you. Good night all.